As an SEO consultant, I feel like I spend a good chunk of my day looking at metrics and analytics for my clients' websites. But I've often found that when people come to me for the first time especially, they're more than a little bit intimidated to look at their own analytics, because as soon as they start to open those social insights or their Google Analytics dashboard or any of the tools that you can use to do this, the overwhelm sets in and they kind of just glaze over because they don't know which reports to look at or which are the metrics that matter. It's like that fight or flight kicks in and then they freeze and then they fly out of there and close it down and say, I'll figure this out later. So today I'm going to walk you through the 3 types of information that you can look for across all of your marketing, where to get that information, and also give you permission to ignore anything that doesn't fall into any of these 3 categories. So I'll share those with you right after this. Hi, I'm Meg Casebolt, the founder of Love at First Search, where we help online entrepreneurs to show up in search results and then turn those new readers into leads, subscribers, and sales. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 3 categories that you need to think about when evaluating whether or not your marketing is working. I stole these 3 categories from my friend Lainey Lamar. I will link to her YouTube channel in case you want to go into more depth about these, but I want you to think of these 3 categories as A, B, C.
Always be closing. Always be closing.
No, it's not always be closing from Glengarry Glen Ross. Although coffee is for closers, I tell my 4-year-old whenever he tries to steal a sip of mine, and it actually does deter him. My ABCs for marketing measurement are awareness, building relationships, and conversions. So let's talk about each of those in a little more detail. We'll start with awareness. Awareness is who is learning about me? Who is finding out about my business that didn't know about me before? If you're trying to evaluate how well your social media marketing is working, you can go into Facebook Creator Studio, which has some of this information, or the insights that you have on the mobile version of any of the platforms like Instagram or LinkedIn Insights or anything along those lines. Typically, the awareness metrics are under the title of reach. Reach is their way of saying how many people saw the content that you are putting out onto your platforms. If the metrics listed under reach are going up, that means that more people are seeing your work. Maybe you're tapping into the algorithm. Maybe you just created your first reel and Instagram is trying to reward you for that. And so it's distributing your reel to even more people. You're going to see a larger reach metric. Often, one of the metrics that shows up under reach is impressions. That's how many people even saw this. It's not necessarily who is watching it, who is reading it. It's just how many times did this show up in someone's feed. Now, I am not an expert on social analytics, so I will actually link to my friend Andrea, who can talk all about this on her YouTube channel because she is the social queen, in my opinion. But I want to kind of give you an idea of how you can evaluate different marketing based on the metrics that you're given. Now, once people get to your website, you can get some information from Google Analytics about that. And the best metric that you can use in order to see how many new people have found you is new users. Now, every time that somebody visits your website from a new device, Google puts on a tracking code. If that device has not been used to visit your website in the last 2 years, then that person is considered a new user. So take a look at what percentage of your users are new versus returning. You want to have a pretty good mix here. There's not really a perfect ratio here for how many new versus returning users you want. It really is based on what your goals are. If you want to always be bringing in new clients, then you're going to hope for more new users. If you want more people coming back to you and getting to know you a little bit deeper, then it's okay to have a higher percentage of returning users. So there is no golden ratio here. Instead, just think of this as you always want to be bringing some new people into your site. You can also use your analytics, segment out just your new users, and then take a look at where those people are coming from. And that can be really helpful to know whether you're posting on social or writing guest posts or going through search engines or finding new ways to be found. You can figure out exactly which people are clicking through to your website for the first time and which of those marketing strategies is working. And if some of your traffic is coming from search, this is a good time to use Google Search Console and figure out what those exact search terms are that people are finding you for and clicking through to your website. A lot of those search users may be brand new to you. That's the whole point. They're searching for something new and they're finding you. The second metric that you want to consider, the B in our ABC framework, is building relationships. These are people who are already somewhat familiar with you. Maybe they're visiting your website for a second time. Maybe they're already following you on social media, or they're subscribed to your YouTube channel, and they're coming back repeatedly. So some of the metrics that you may want to consider for these folks are engagement. That's a huge factor on social media. You want to know who is actually liking, commenting, saving your posts in order to get those engagement scores up. The higher your engagement score is, the more likely you are to show up to a larger audience for that piece of content. And when we're talking about the metrics for your website, when it comes to building relationships, the things that I like to look at is that piece of how many people are returning to my website. And also, once they get there, how are they behaving? How many pages are they looking at on my website? And how long are they spending on my website? And this doesn't need to be a blanket for your entire website. You can go into the acquisition report in your Google Analytics and actually look at, based on where people are coming from, whether they're coming from search or social or referral or email, how is their behavior different? Are people who are coming from email spending more or less time on your site than people coming from Facebook? You can also go into the behavior tab and take a look at, depending on which page of your website they start on, how long are they spending on the page, and get an idea for which of your pages is retaining the most people. I have a free training on exactly how to segment out this audience and see how different landing pages and acquisition strategies perform differently. So I will include a link to that right beneath this video. Another factor to consider when it comes to building relationships is how many people are signing up for your email list. These are not necessarily customers yet. These are just subscribers. These are people who are saying, yes, I'm interested in what you're talking about. Please send me more information, but I'm not quite ready to buy yet. The easiest way to know whether people have signed up for your email is to create a specific page that people go to after they've signed up for your email list so that they're redirected to that page. And then Google Analytics can tell you every page that they visited before that. Now, you can just do this through the behaviors tab and say who has seen that page and where did they come from and where did they land, and kind of reverse engineer it. Or there is an easier solution where you can set up what is called a conversion goal or a conversion event. What this does is it says to Google, when people visit this page, I want you to sit up and pay extra special attention to them so that I can track what they did before they got there, or how they behaved once they got on the site that also got them to sign up for my email list. I will create 2 videos next week, one for how to set up a conversion goal in Google Universal Analytics, which is their older interface, and one for their new interface, which is called GA4. They're rolling it out right now. You may be in one or both of those camps, so I want to show you how to do that in either of the systems that you're using. And I'll talk more about that in those videos. And that's how you know if people are building relationships with you, if they're coming back to your website more than once, if they're engaging with your content, if they're spending a lot of time on your website, if they're signing up for your email list. They're clearly interested in what you're doing. They want more from you. And you can get an idea for how well your content is doing in bringing those people into you and getting them engaged with you and building a relationship with you. And the final level of what you want to be tracking in your marketing is your conversions. This is the holy grail of what we want our websites to do. If you're running a service-based business, the conversion that you'll probably be tracking is contact form submissions, people who are saying, yes, give me more information about working with you. Let's hop on a call. Let's book a consult. If you're running an e-commerce business, this will be a sale. Somebody is putting in their credit card information and they are buying something from you. Conversions are what we want from our websites. We want people to become leads and customers. And how do you track that? The same way that you track email marketing. You set up a conversion goal and you tell Google, when somebody hits this page, when somebody gets to this location, that means that they are a customer of mine and they are interested in what I'm doing. Please tell me what I did to get them to do that. If you're tracking your contact form submissions, you can very easily do that the same way that you set up that email marketing goal. If you're running an e-commerce business, you can actually connect your checkout directly to Google Analytics, and it will give you so much more information using the enhanced e-commerce tracking. It can even tell you things like who put things in their shopping carts and exactly which products they looked at and who's buying what and where they came from. It's super, super powerful to have these conversion metrics in your e-commerce website analytics. And of course, we don't just want this information because we're curious. We want to use this to make future decisions. So the more that you can take a look at your analytics, not just because you're like, oh, I wonder what's happening, but because you can actually use it to make a decision about how you want to change your marketing in the future. I've had clients who have said, wow, I'm getting a lot of traffic from Pinterest, but they're not signing up for my email list and they're not spending a lot of time on my site, so maybe I'll spend less time on Pinterest. And I have other clients in different industries who are saying, damn, Pinterest is taking off. I am going to double down on getting more traffic from there. So knowing that there is no standard of this is the tool that will work for you, but instead you want to look at the numbers, figure out what you're doing that makes sense for the time that you're investing in it, and double down on what's working. This can also help you free up tasks that you don't want to do anymore. I've walked some of my students through this where we're taking a look at their analytics. We're looking at how much of their traffic is coming from social versus how much of their traffic is coming from search, and how many of those people are signing up for programs, joining their email list, filling out their contact forms. And for many of them, we're seeing this fulcrum point where they have more people coming from search who are signing up for their email lists than we have people coming from social media. So they can take that time and shift away from social and be able to spend more time on their content to create better results for their search, or they can relax a little bit because the search will continue to bring in traffic for them regardless of whether they're constantly creating. Whereas if you're relying on social media, you're going to have to create a lot more frequently, consistently. So let me know in the comments how the ABC framework works for you as you start to track your new awareness from new people, your building of relationships, and your conversions. Make sure to like this video if you thought it was helpful, and subscribe to the channel for more tips about how to make your marketing easier and bring in more clients for you. I'll see you next week.